wasn't one of my classier moments, I can tell you that right now. Guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I have what you guys have been fiending for, crying for, begging for, which is another story time. I hear you, I see you loves. Today I have another story time for you guys. If you're following me on Twitter and Snapchat, I wanted to tell my prom story time, but for some reason the universe just ain't about that life. Every time I try to sit down and film that fucking story, something bad would happen. So we're gonna move on and we're gonna tell another story today. I did a poll on Twitter and I also asked you on Snapchat story you guys would like to hear, and the majority of you guys want to know about the time that I ran into Melissa in the bathroom. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to leave the video down below in my description box, and you guys can also find it right here and kind of get caught up before you watch this video. Otherwise, ain't nothing gonna make sense. Cool? Cool. We are going to get started, and I was not at all surprised that you guys picked this fucking story because y'all just love to see me ratchet and talk about all the stupid fucking fights I got in when I was young. I definitely have that tea, so get your snacks, get your wine, get your juice, get your Takis, hot Cheetos, whatever is on your heart, girl. So we're going to just jump right into the story time because I know you guys are not here to just hear me ramble. Y'all are here for a story. We're gonna jump right into it, but before we do, as usual, today's glamour shot of the day is my gorgeous Glamazon, Ranchel. I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm so sorry. Half of y'all don't even go by y'all's real name on social media anyway, but that's neither here nor there. My girl right here is about to graduate, and I am so fucking proud to see you guys doing good shit. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for sending me your glamour shot, and thank you for all of your love and support. You guys know that I would not be here without you, and I could not do this without each and every one of you guys. Now let's get into the story time. Basically, this story is trailing off of the story that I had previously with Drew and Robert's funky ass and all of that drama. So basically what had happened was, once upon a time there was this guy named Drew, and Drew was in my Spanish class at my last favorite high school, which is where I met Robert's funky ass. Now, prior to meeting Robert's funky ass, I had a crush on Drew. Long story short, I had like this, long-term crush on him, and a few months into it, I find out that he has a girlfriend, not from him, but from somebody else. So it put us in a rough spot. I didn't know he had a girlfriend. When I got with Robert's funky ass, Drew wasn't too fond of it. He made fun of my choice of being with Robert for multiple reasons, and then decided to break up with his girlfriend, Melissa, whom he had been with for 3 full years, and wanted me to just break up with Robert. So when I said no, then there was a fucking problem. We remained friends for the rest of the year, but a lot of shit happened up until the end of the year. And so this is one of the things that happened. You guys had an option to hear this story or the story about Robert and Drew actually fighting, like they got into an actual fight. So this story takes place after that fight happened. So I wanted to tell that one first, but like you guys are feeling this story more, just know that there is a piece that you guys are missing because y'all ain't trying to hear it. So whatever, like here I am, I'm 17, I'm with Robert, I'm at this school, and we're just taking off basically where we left off. The rest of the year starts going on. Here we were in this really weird love triangle square. So a few months went by after Drew and I had that really awkward, like hard conversation that we had after school one day, and basically where I let him know, like, no, I'm not cool with the idea of me breaking up with Robert for no apparent reason because you decide out of nowhere to break up with your girlfriend. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Drew and I remained friends. Like the first few weeks after that whole situation happened, it was really awkward, I'm not gonna lie. But we did see each other all the time. We had the same lunch period, we had the same off periods, we had classes together. Like Drew and I had a lot of mutual friends. So we decided to keep it cordial, keep it respectful for the sake of like our friends and our classes, and we just didn't want to fucking like make it more complicated than it already was, okay? We ended up getting over it, and things slowly but surely started going back to normal. I still had not met Melissa, like still. As much time that I spent with Drew, it was just crazy to me that I was not meeting this bitch. Once Drew and I became friends, like we still had our Spanish class together or whatever. We were genuinely friends, just fucking friends. And as friends, we would come to each other if like we were having like an issue in our relationship, or if like somebody was tripping, you know, like we talked to each other about it. And I didn't really have a whole lot of issues with Robert, but he was having issues with Melissa, and Melissa was salty because he broke up with her out of nowhere. Fast forward, and I find out that shortly after Drew and I have that conversation, and I was like, yeah, no, like I'm not about to fucking like drop Robert for your ass because you wanted to do this out of nowhere when you know that I already have a boyfriend. Like, no. Literally by the end of that week, you guys, he was already back with Melissa. Like I knew he would be. You're not gonna fucking tell me that like they can just get rid of shit like that. Like, it's too much history. Like, history fucking matters. So I fucking knew it, and he ended up getting back with Melissa like a few days later. We started like supporting each other's relationship. Like, I wouldn't get pissed if he needed to talk to me about Melissa, and he wouldn't get pissed if I needed to talk to him about Robert. So I forgot what the fuck was going on, but I remember some shit was happening with Melissa. Melissa was like being like extremely overbearing, like trying to go through his fucking phone, and like they were fighting all the time. And I couldn't really blame her. So I was like, dude, you know, she's fucking tripping because of what you did. Like, all of a sudden after 3 years, you fucking break up with her. You're not gonna tell me that somebody, some big mouth ass person in our class or somebody that knows us didn't tell her like, hey, he probably broke up with her for Nikki, or like he was trying to talk to another bitch while he was with you. Like, you're not gonna tell me that she doesn't have an iota of an idea what was going on, you know? He started becoming more open about his relationship with Melissa with me, because it came to a point where it was like, okay, we get it. Like, we're with different people. It is what it is. Like, we might as well just like go full out and just be friends. He started telling me more about Melissa and about the shit that was bothering him, their issues, their arguments, like everything, girl. Like, he was telling me all their motherfucking business, like all of it. He started showing me more pictures of her. I started getting a better idea of what she looked like, because you guys, I had never seen her. I inevitably like memorized her face in my head, and I like always looked around. Any redhead girl, I would be like, oh, is that her? Is that her? It never was. So finally I go to class one day, and he's telling me about Melissa again or whatever. I was like, dude, is she even real? Like, how is it that we all go to the same school? You and I chill all the fucking time. We have nothing but mutual friends, and I still ain't met this bitch. Like, what is going on? Like, where is she? After all this time, he finally admitted to me that this girl was a sophomore, okay? And we were juniors. She essentially was a lower classman, and we were upperclassmen. Like, it's completely fucking different. So that's why I hadn't seen her. That's why I didn't know her, because our schedules were like completely fucking different. And she didn't have the same friends as us. She was a sophomore. She had all of her freshman and sophomore fucking friends. I know that it's only like a year and a half age difference, but when you're in high school, that shit matters, because it doesn't matter your age, it matters your grade. So like, when you're dating somebody like, and you're a junior, you have to say not, oh, they're 15. You have to be like, oh, they're a sophomore and I'm a junior, or I'm a senior and I'm dating a freshman. Like, that's always how people identify you, is by your grade in high school. So immediately in my junior fucking mind, I was like, you with this little ass girl. Like, I don't know why I thought that, but I was like, you with this little ass baby girl. It was around this time that I started learning more about Melissa, about her age, where she came from. Like, I started knowing all of this bitch's business, because Drew was just like spilling all the motherfucking tea on her. Ooh, that was good. So fast forward a few weeks, and one day Drew comes to school, and he's like real hype or whatever, and we go into Spanish class, and he turns around and he's like, what are you doing next weekend? I don't know, minding my own goddamn business. Why? There's this big ass boxing match that's about to happen. It's with so and so and so and so, like these two big ass fighters. They're about to order it on pay-per-view at my house, and I'm gonna have a party and everybody can come over and watch the fight. So I asked him if it was okay if I brought my friend Danielle, and Danielle was a friend of mine from the shitty school back in the day, but she and I were still really great friends, and we would hang out almost every weekend. So I was like, hey, can I bring Danielle? And he was like, fuck yeah, like the more the merrier, like we're gonna have so many people or whatever. Now here it goes, here comes like this really awkward fucking feeling that I have, because I of course can't just be chilling at his house. I have a boyfriend, and I'm gonna have to tell Robert where I'm at, because I'm not trying to go to this party and have all of my friends see me there and then come back to school and tell Robert and I didn't even tell him. So of course I have to tell him, are you okay with me inviting Robert? And he just kind of sat there and he was like, I guess I'm gonna have to be okay. Like, dude, I don't fucking care anymore. He was like, if you want to invite him, you know, by all means, you can definitely invite him. And I was like, all right, cool. So like, we were coming to like a common ground. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna talk to my mom. Hopefully she lets me come. If she does, I'll let Robert know. I'm sure he can go. And in my mind, you guys, I'm like, all right, we're all about to be in the same room. And by all, I mean me, Robert, Drew, and Melissa. I was finally about to meet this fucking phantom girl that he's been with, because of course she's gonna be there. Like, that's her man. Like, this is his party. And like, there's no way, like, if you really think about it, there's no way that she hasn't heard about me. There's no way that somebody didn't fucking open their mouth and make something bigger than what it was. And like, there's no fucking way. So I'm like hoping and praying that everything goes chill, because at this point, you guys, I had already been to so many schools and I had already been in so many fucking fights, and I was just tired. I didn't want to fight anybody. I wasn't about to try to be getting in trouble no more. And like, I wanted to just chill. I was finally in a school that I liked, and I was finally on solid ground, and I just wanted to like just chill. I went ahead and I asked Drew, I was like, hey, is Melissa coming? And he got real quiet and he was like, yeah, she'll be there. And I was like, don't fucking lie to me. Does she have an issue with me? Because if she does, I'm not about to go, because I'm not trying to get into a fight in your parents' home, number one. And number two, I just don't have fucking time for it. So does she have a problem? No, not at all. Like, she's never said anything about you. Like, of course not. Like, why would she have an issue with you? What you mean? Why would she have an issue with me? Like, Drew, are you fucking dumb? Did you forget everything that happened? Did you forget the fact that you broke up with her ass to try to be with me? Did you forget that? So he like reassured me over and over. He was like, I'm telling you, like, she doesn't even fucking know. To my knowledge, nobody has ever told her, like, everything's gonna be fine, just come by and chill. I'll go, but let me tell you something. If I go there and your girl starts tripping, I was like, Drew, you and I won't be friends anymore, and she and I are gonna have a fucking problem. I was like, because I'm telling you right now, I don't feel like doing it. I'm not about to get into another fight. I'm not going to be a part of your fucking drama. I was like, so let me know right now. He reassured me everything's gonna be fine. I was like, all right, cool. So I go home and I told my mom about it, and here is how much my mother hated Robert's funky ass. I feel like I had gotten caught like once or twice talking to Robert, and so like she knew that he existed. I was like, is it okay if I go to my friend's house and watch a boxing match? And she was like, what friend? And I told her, I was like straight up, and I was like, it's my friend Drew. And she was like, how many people are gonna be there? And I was like, Mom, like over 20 people are gonna be there. I'm not even kidding. And she was like, all boys and girls? And I was like, yeah. She was like, are his parents gonna be there? And I said, both of them will be there, as well as his brother. And she was like, all right, well, I'm gonna drop you off, and if I don't see parents there, you're not going, you understand? And I was like, yes. So she was like, yeah, you know, that's fine. And she was like, I want you to like go out and socialize and like meet other people. And she was saying that because she was like, I don't want you with his ass. So like, I don't want you with Robert's funky ass, so I'm gonna let you go to this other guy's house. Like, that's legit where my mom's head was at. She was like, hail to the no to him. I was so happy, you guys. Like, yes, bitch. Like, I was about to go to a fucking party with all my friends. Like, this was my first time like going anywhere that like there was a party happening that like all my friends were gonna be at, and that I was getting to go. So I was so fucking excited, right? It was at this party that shit popped the fuck off, and Drew and Robert ended up getting into a fight. Okay, now when we showed up at the party, everything was all good. I'll tell you guys the entire story at a different time. But what I can tell you is I showed up there with Danielle. We were one of the earliest people there because I was so fucking excited. And so half the night went by, and I asked Drew, I was like, did Melissa not come? And he was like, I don't want to talk about it. He just was not his usual fun self, and he was getting very agitated and very irritated. And that was kind of what led up to his full-on fist fight with Robert, okay? I'll tell you guys a little bit more about like the result of that and all of the drama and shit that was involved with that another time, but we're gonna move on, okay? So that party happened, and by this time that whole entire fight kind of diffused. Nobody was talking about it anymore. It was coming up towards the end of the year. I believe I was taking my ACTs. split you up into groups pretty much, and each group goes at a different time in a different part of the school, and then they keep you separated so that you're not like talking about the test amongst each other. You go and test with the group that they assign you to, basically. So like there were like a lot of people in my group that I didn't even fucking know, and they do that shit on purpose so that you're not like cheating, I guess, during your standardized test or whatever. There was like this part of my school that I never went to because it was like mostly for like lower classmen, and like all of the freshman and sophomore lockers and classrooms and shit were in this part of the school that I legitimately, you guys, never stepped foot in, like ever. I never had a class over there. So of course they put us in these classrooms over on that side away from everybody else so that we can do our testing, right? Very strict about no phones, no talking, like throughout the entire day. As most of you guys know, this shit fucking sucks. Like it just sucks ass so much. Like you have, back then, I don't know if they have them now, but they probably do, the Scantrons. Y'all know the fucking Scantrons, the ugly ass green ones, yes. And then you have to use a number 2 pencil, not a mechanical pencil, not any other pencil, a number fucking 2, not a number 1 pencil. Have you guys ever even seen like a number 1 pencil? Why is it called a number 2 pencil? I digress. And we start testing. Now, as most of you guys know, it takes all fucking day, and it legitimately just depletes you of all of your brain power and energy. And when they walked us to the bathroom, I just felt like that was a bit much. Like, really, bitch? Like, really? Like you're gonna fucking stand outside of the bathroom while I pee because you think that I like memorized the fucking questions? Like I got time for that? To tell the bitch in the next stall what the answer is? I just felt like they were doing the most. So the first day went by. Okay, let me just, because I can feel myself getting mad again, so just give me 1 second. And during our lunch break, I decided that I needed to go to the bathroom. Now, the shitty thing was is if somebody raised their hand to go to the bathroom, they wanted to make as little trips as possible. So like they'd ask, who else needs to go to the bathroom? Like everybody that needs to go to the bathroom, raise your hand now, and we'll take all of y'all, because they wanted to monitor us while we were in the bathroom. Putting all my shit out there like, Nikki needs to go pee, who else needs to pee, bitch? Who needs to fucking pee? You need to tell me who needs to pee, because I need to watch you pee, bitch. And I want to say like 2 or 3 other girls that were like, yeah, we'll go to the bathroom right now. So we walk in a fucking line, like I said, all stupid, like we're in fucking kindergarten, and we walk to the bathroom, okay? And the bathroom is like around the corner. The rest of the school is still running and still existing. All of the freshmen and sophomores are like still in class or whatever. They took one group of girls and one group of boys. And one teacher stood outside of the girls' bathroom and the other teacher stood outside of the boys' bathroom. And I just felt like they were doing the most. So they walk us around. The teacher tells us, you guys have 5 minutes. Go in there, use the bathroom, wash your hands, come back out. I don't want to hear any of you guys talking. If I hear you guys talking, I'm going to assume that you are trying to cheat on the test, and you will be removed and won't be able to finish your test. So we go in there, all fucking awkward. All of us go into the stalls, okay? While I'm just minding my own fucking business and peeing, I hear other girls come into the bathroom and they're talking. So that tells me that they're not a part of our group. They're another group of girls that are coming in, okay? So, you know, I'm just like overhearing this conversation. I'm not really paying attention, but I hear them, you know? So they start talking. And they're talking about this guy, Drew. And I was like, you know, there's a lot of other Drews in the school, like, whatever. So I didn't really think much of it, okay? I flushed the toilet with my foot, because if you do it with your hand, you're nasty, because there's a lot of fucking germs. Do it with your foot, okay? And I open the stall door and I walk out towards the sink. I start washing my hands, and I look up in the mirror, and I see a girl all the way at the end of the sinks, because it's like a big long basin, and some of the other girls that were in my group started coming out of the stalls too. So I'm like in the middle of washing my hands, and I look up and I see these younger girls, and it's apparent that they're like younger than us, and they're obviously not doing testing. I look and I see a girl with red hair. I look at her a little bit more intently through the mirror, and I realize that I recognize her. And I recognize her because it was Melissa. And the minute that I looked at her and I realized who she was through the mirror, she looked at me, and I saw a look of recognition on her face as well. I looked at her, she looked at me, I looked away, kept washing my hands, and I could feel this bitch staring a hole into the back of my head. She whispered something to her friends, and they all got quiet, all of them. Now keep in mind, they had just been loud and talking or whatever, and they like all in unison got completely silent. So I just stay silent, okay, because I'm not trying to start any shit. I'm literally in the middle of testing right now, and there's a teacher standing right outside of the bathroom door just waiting to hear any of us in our group say anything. Now, I don't know how they'd be able to differentiate us from them. Either way, I wasn't trying to risk it. They stayed silent, and I finished washing my hands, and I got a paper towel, and I'm like drying my hands at this point. And Melissa goes to pass me, and I'm standing right by the trash can. I'm drying a little bit more of my hands, and I'm about to put the paper towel into the trash can so I can walk out. Well, I do that, and Melissa decides that she's going to pass me because she's already done washing her hands too, and she needs a paper towel as well. And I'm standing right by the paper towel dispenser. I'm doing one of these, and I'm drying my hands, and I'm about to throw the paper towel away, and she comes up to get one. And instead of saying excuse me, instead of waiting 2 seconds until I got out of the goddamn way, this bitch decides to fucking shoulder check me. And while she did that, this little bitch said, move, and fucking shoulder check me. I'm talking about like shoulder check the fuck out of me. Okay. So there was a girl that was in my group that came with me to the bathroom, and I didn't know her on a personal level, but I knew about her because she and I were in the same grade, and that girl had been in so many fucking fights, and I never like had any classes with her, but everybody had heard about her. Anyway, she was in the bathroom with us. So she came around me, and I'm sitting there and I'm still looking at Melissa like, this bitch. We'll call her Tiffany, okay? Tiffany, she leans towards like the door, and she like looks out, and she looked at me and she goes, the teacher's not there. And there was something going on with the boys' bathroom, so our teacher went over there really fast to like go see what was going on. And I couldn't fucking help myself, you guys. At this very moment, I had a choice. I could either walk out of the bathroom, let this bitch get away with her shoulder checking me, and just call it a day, or I could just ask her a simple fucking question and see what her problem is, and this should be great. And I don't know why I chose the latter, but I did. I had a really hard time controlling my anger back then, and I was just really young, and I honestly did not know how to harness it and fucking control it. Back then, I just was everywhere, and at this very moment, this was one of the times in my high school career that I was actually able to like kind of hold myself back. Because had I been at my shitty school, I wouldn't have had shit to say. Them's is fighting words. I'm a little bit grown now. I'm a junior. I'm taking my ACT test. This bitch ain't worked it. Let me ask her. I'm not trying to fight her. She wants to sit up here and try to act all stupid. That's fine. But let me see what's going on. Because according to Drew, she doesn't know shit about me. So, what's your fucking problem? And I said, do you have a problem? And she turned around, and this bitch looked at me, and she said, yeah, I usually have problems with whores like you. And I was like, oh, bitch. So I looked at her, and I was like, so I'm guessing that you're mad because your man broke up with you for me? She was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I looked at her, and I was like, I'm talking about the fact that Drew broke up with you and asked me out the next day. The only reason why you're with him is because I said no. I let you have it. By this time, she already has a paper towel, you guys. She already has a paper towel, and she's doing the same thing, okay? When I said that, she clumped it up, and this bitch threw it at me. She threw her paper towel. Oh, and it hit my chest, and it fell. When I looked down, she was already going towards me, and she pushed me, right? So there was nothing but stalls behind me, okay? So she pushes me, and I hit right in the middle of 2 stalls. So it's like that pillar that's in between 2 stalls, right? Within a split second of me realizing what the fuck she did, I grabbed her shoulders and I pushed her backwards. The sinks were behind her. And back then I was really active and my legs were fucking huge. So I pushed off of my legs and I have her by the shoulders and I push her back. I'm like, bitch, you gonna fucking push me, bitch? You fucking go across the bathroom. I pushed her up against that. Once I felt her hit that counter, my arm, and I put it at her neck. I don't know fucking why. I have no idea why I did this. And one hand over her neck and I was pushing her back. But because the fucking counter was right there, she was leaning back this way. I looked her dead ass in her eyes and I was like, don't ever fucking touch me. I wasn't looking for no trouble. I came in here, I didn't say shit to you. You decide to fucking come over here and act all hard and fucking shoulder check my ass, and then you decide to put your hands full on me and try to push me into a stall, bitch. But I could tell. It was on the tip of her tongue. She was about to say something. And I was like preparing myself to be in a full-on fight. And I was like, I'm about to beat the fuck out of this girl. I'm about to beat the shit out of this girl. Fucking say it. I want you to. Literally right here. I'm right here in her face, and I'm begging her to just say something. Just say it. At that very moment, Tiffany looked at me and she grabbed my arm and she said, the teacher's coming back. Stop, stop. And I looked at Melissa and I looked at her up and down and I was like, if you tell anybody and you get my ass in trouble and I get suspended, you better hope they don't let me back in this fucking school. Do you understand? I let her have a chance. I gave her like 2 seconds. You got anything else to say? Not a fucking word. Tiffany backed up, looked at me. I go in front of her and I leave the bathroom. And I'm red in the face, you guys. I'm sweating. I'm fucking pissed. And the 3 other girls that were with me, they followed. All the other girls, while all of this was happening, they were either washing their hands or they were standing back, okay? And they were just watching. Melissa's little fucking friends didn't do shit. So we all get into our little stupid fucking kindergarten line. We take off down the hall. I don't know how or why, or it was like, honestly, you guys, it was by the grace of God that teacher didn't stay by that door the entire time, because had she, I would have gotten suspended and I wouldn't have been able to finish my test. I go to school on Monday and I already know that like Drew is probably gonna know about everything that happened in the bathroom, okay? So I walk into my Spanish class and Drew is already there and he's already sitting down in the class. He was like one of the first people there, which was like really unlike him. So I knew that something was off, and he just sits there and I'm looking at the back of his head and I'm like, all right. Like, this was like the first time that he didn't say, hey Nikki, what's up Nikki? He wasn't turning around to try to talk to me. So I was like, all right, well, I mean, if I have to lose a friend over this bitch, like, I guess, because your fucking girlfriend came out her motherfucking lane, so it is what it is. Then it starts coming towards the end of the class and we start packing up our shit. We start packing up and like I'm looking down and I'm like packing up my backpack or whatever. Drew finally turns around and he looks at me and he was like, you got anything to say to me? I said, hi Drew. He was like, really? And I was like, yeah. I said, what is it? What's your problem? I don't know, maybe the fact that you hit my girlfriend in the bathroom last week. And I was like, oh, is that what she said? Is that how she told you it went down? And he was like, yeah, she told me that like she was minding her own business and that like you went up to her and you started fighting with her about me. I was like, Drew, I like you and everything. I was like, but honestly, like, you're not that important. I was like, I would not go out of my way to fight with your girlfriend over you. Like, no offense, but like, you know me better than that. Does that really sound like something I do? I was like, are you interested in hearing what actually happened, or you want to believe your little fucking girlfriend? But I'm not going to sit up here and try to explain myself to somebody who's already made up their mind, so I'd rather save my breath. He's like, well, what happened? And so I told him everything, and I was like, your fucking girlfriend came out of her motherfucking lane. She tried to shoulder check me, she threw a paper towel at me like a little bitch, and then she fucking charged me and pushed me into a fucking stall. And so I was like, I did what I felt like I had to do. I was like, I don't know what you wanted me to do. You wanted me to just sit there and let your little ass girlfriend fucking put her hands on me like that? And he was like, well, no, like, she didn't tell me that that happened. He was like, well, was anybody else in the bathroom with you? And I was like, Drew, what is this? A fucking trial in court? I was like, the fuck you mean? You want me to fucking find people that I barely know to tell you what I already told you? I was like, fuck that, man. He was like, well, she said that she doesn't want me hanging out with you anymore. I was like, if you want a little ass girl to be telling you what the fuck to do with your life, I guess. He just sat there and he said, I knew that that didn't really sound like you. That's not really something that you would do. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And by this point, I'm like, dude, whatever. Like, he was like, well, she told me that you threatened her. And I was like, I did. I sure the fuck did. I was like, Drew, what the fuck was I supposed to do? Let her little bitch ass go out there and try to play the boo-hoo card like she's playing with you right now and try to make it seem like I just bullied her in the fucking bathroom so that I can get suspended? Fuck that. I don't feel bad for a goddamn thing I did or said. So after that conversation with Drew, I never saw Melissa again. Like I said, like, we had gone to that school together and I never saw her. We didn't have any mutual friends. So pretending like she didn't exist wasn't hard to do at all. And then later on that year, we ended up going to prom. I was going to prom with Robert's funky ass, and that was the story that I was trying to tell y'all for like 2 fucking weeks. Drew ended up going to prom by himself, so by that time he and Melissa officially like split up and he just couldn't do it anymore. So that is the story about the time that I ran into Melissa in the bathroom. I'm pretty sure you guys wanted like more of an all-out drag-out fight, but honestly, like, that would have happened had that other whatever it is that she was about to say to me, had she said that, we would have had a full-on drag-out fight, because I felt so much rage and anger at that point. Like, I would have gave no fucks. And like, that was my issue back then when I was younger. I was just like I was like a spark, man. Like, I didn't think before acting, and like, honestly, that got me into a lot of trouble. That's something that I've really worked on a lot over the past few years, is like thinking about the consequences before I act, because back then when I was in high school, I just didn't have that. Like, I never thought before I acted and just like go off all the time. So that is the story about the time that I ran into Melissa in the bathroom. I promise I won't make you guys wait another month for another one. I promise. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. If you did, please don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up to let me know. It helps me out a lot. Also, if you guys like story times and would like to see more or any advice videos or any other random videos that I put here on my channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be notified of each time I upload a video here on my channel. Also, don't forget to follow me on my Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. I will leave all of that information down below so you guys can be notified of any changes or any updates about videos. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.